I think because of the competitive nature of the both managers, they want to use strong team. Yeah, because the likes of Bruno, the likes of De Bruyne, the likes of Stones, the likes of Martinez. Yeah. You don't want their first game back to be the first game of the Premier League.
Yeah. Now, in this year Community Shield, which player do you expect to how many players do you think is going to bring the magic out? We know in football, the whole team can play as team player, but there's always players that will stand out. In this year Community Shield, from you, what would be the rating of the player of Manchester United and Man City?
Okay, so the players to watch for the preseason, the Community Shield, sorry. I think for Man City, I would say we want to look at the new signing. That's Salvio. We want to look at. We know what Salvio can do. We've seen what Salvio can do, but let's see what Salvio can do against a top Premier League opposition
like
in Manchester United. Yeah, so we want to see what Salvio will do. And then for Manchester United, I think the Community should be possibly the first game of Joshua Zirkzee. So we want to see what Zirkzee will do in that game. So I think there's nothing much except if something happens before the Community Shield that maybe a player is brought in. And and the player plays.
Now, and I noticed that the Man City game against Chelsea shows us that Pep Guardiola is coming with something new. You can see the young players playing high-flying football, playing even more active football than the regular Man City.
But this is not the first time that a young Premier Man City team is always defeating a top Chelsea team. Yeah. So even last season and upper seasons, we've seen that. But I think it's just, I know we're not talking about Chelsea right now, but just as we reference that game, I think Maresca is just starting job and there's a lot of work to be done, Chan. But,
oh, God. Yeah. Sorry, Chelsea fan.
There's a lot of work
this season will be long.
Yeah.
Finally now. Okay. I'm thinking this year Community Shield, I don't know if I'm thinking right. Will be more of young guys playing.
No, I think because of the competitive nature of the both managers, they want to use strong team. Yeah, because the likes of Bruno, the likes of De Bruyne, the likes of Stones, the likes of Martinez. Yeah. You don't want their first game back to be the first game of the Premier League.
Yeah, that's true.
And again, for Man City just have to give their top players, games because the first match of their season is against Chelsea.
Yes, that's true.
So I'm expecting Man City to go all out, put their full players on ground. And I'm expecting Man United also because they don't want to start. The last season they had a very poor start against Wolves. And this season now they're having against Fulham. And Fulham has done a lot of strengthening. Yeah. So I expect both teams to put their top players in.
Okay. All right. For me, I just want to add this to it because Ten Hag obviously have issues in the midfield. Now, Pep Guardiola is having problems with how to put in new players, infuse new players to his own pattern because we know like of De Bruyne will not be able to play more matches this season.
Yeah.
Now, I'm thinking that I think the Community Shield should be the perfect platform to give all these new blood, new players, the taste of Premiership. So that they can have a beautiful season.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, it's possible because Guardiola can. Man City's youngsters are of that level.
Yeah,
they're of that level. Like Oscar Bob, McAtee, they're of that level. They can play, But I think the reality is because of minutes, they want to give the top.
What about Ten Hag? Because I'm looking at every preseason I've watched.
Ten Hag is going full force. Looking at Ten Hag's character, Ten Hag is going full force.
I know he loves trophies, but my question is very simple here because I know Manchester United fans want to know what Ten Hag is thinking because every preseason that I've watched from Chelsea to Arsenal to Man City, we can see patterns, dynamics. We can see players following coach instruction. But when you see Manchester United pattern, it's obviously like there's the ship is looking so divided instead of united. The midfield was terrible. Young players are coming in. Obviously, they are not looking like they are well trained.
Yes, I think definitely you cannot compare the structure at Man City to Manchester United. But the reality is that the big problem for Ten Hag will be what midfield does he use in that Community Shield. Because we've said it many times on this podcast that Casemiro it's not it. And I think the game against Liverpool also showed that Casemiro is not it. So and I don't think there's anything that's going to happen now between now and the Community Shield that's going to ensure that they bring in a midfielder.
Oh God.
And that midfielder is ready to start. Already understands the dynamics. So I think it's a little bit of, it's a lot of things, yeah.
What about Amrabat? Something is just hanging over that guy. What's up?
We don't yet know. But there's still a lot of time in the transfer market, so we'll see what goes on.
Okay, because let's now go back to the FA Cup final. I think that will be the last thing we are going to talk about. Yeah, before we go to the tactics. The FA Cup final. We can see the combination of Amrabat, Kobe Mainu, then Bruno being a first 9. Like, the formations look like 4-2-2. Like the right type of play football.
Yeah.
Now, are we expecting that type of formation against Man City in this Community Shield?
It's possible because you want to show up. Man United doesn't have a midfield at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So you cannot afford to do the normal 4-2-3-1. So I think if he wants to go with that, like a 4-4-2, 4-4-2. So I think it will make more sense.
More sense. I know that once beaten, twice shy, Pep Guardiola will not want to.
Yeah, so it's also about how has Guardiola learned from that formation structure and how can he tackle it.
Okay,